Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here with my daily number 9. Wow. December the 4th, 2017. Welcome to my video. Welcome to my channel called Traveling with Bruce. Now, if this is your first time that you've ever been here, I invite you to check out all my videos. I'm probably approaching 85 now. I cover trips I've taken, cruises I've done, trips I've had. I give advice on how to find a good deal on cruising, what to pack, how to find last minute cruises, stuff like that. I got just all kinds of topics, but I also do my dailies. And my dailies are about whatever comes to mind, whatever is trending or something is going on or happened on this day, that kind of thing. If it's your first visit ever to this channel, you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like any of them. If you comment, I would welcome that too. Comment on my videos. Tell me what you think of them, or add your 2 bits worth. Every comment I get helps me with my algorithms on YouTube. YouTube wants to know if I'm interacting with my viewers. If you like my channel, please subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers I get, the more YouTube promotes my channel to others, and that's what it's all about. And the subscribe button is either down here, and I think there's a little one all the time over here. And thank you if you become a subscriber. I think I'm at 78 now. Yes, I'm approaching 100. Okay, so December the 4th, 2017. I noticed today that back in history today, in 1956, oh, how long ago is that? That's what, 70 years ago? 61 years ago, oh my God. I was 1, because I'm 62. On December the 4th, 1956, 4 guys happened to meet at the same place at the same time and had some fun together, playing a bit of music. The location is Memphis, Tennessee, Sun Records, where Elvis Presley got his start. Sam Phillips founded Sun Records in 1952. He signed Elvis and a number of other artists. And Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, the Killer, and Carl Perkins met each other at Sun Records quite by accident at the same time. They happened to be popping by. In the case of Elvis Presley, he was popping by to say hi and pass on season's greetings to Sam Phillips. In the case of Carl Perkins, he was recording. He was looking to record another tune because Blue Swede Shoes had been a big hit for him and he wanted to follow up with some more music. So he and his band were there. Johnny Cash came by. Jerry Lee Lewis was there to kind of get an eye on what was going on, invited by Phillips. And the 4 of them ended up jamming together in the studio for the one and only time in their lives. They were all together at the same time in the same place. It was impromptu, unrehearsed, and they just jammed and played some music for a while. And there are recordings of it available. I'm not allowed to play them because if I play them, I'm breaking copyright rules. God forbid I do that. And so there are multiple places where you can find these recordings. They were contacted. Sam Phillips was smart enough to contact the local newspaperman. And he brought him over with a camera and took a photo of the boys sitting around the piano jamming away. And a newspaper article was written about the fact that these 4 gentlemen were in this studio at the same time. Elvis Presley had already been signed off by Sam Phillips. Sam Phillips had sold his recording contract that he had with Sun Records, and he sold Elvis over to RCA Victor for $35,000 in cash in 1955, I believe it was, which today is the equivalent of $250,000. And that was early days for Elvis. Sam Phillips knew he could never promote Elvis the way Elvis needed to be promoted. He had taken Elvis to a certain level and Elvis had to move on from there. And RCA Victor and Elvis sold hundreds of millions of albums after that. Other artists to come by who had been in the studio, one that comes to mind is Roy Orbison, was another artist that came by the studio. But anyway, the 4 that got together, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, the newspaperman coined the term the Million Dollar Quartet. So he called them the Million Dollar Quartet. And maybe at the time, 1956, early days for all 4 guys, that might have been an appropriate comment. Because really, To most people in 1956, if you said, oh, it's $1 million quartet, you would look at that and go, oh man, today that's $1 billion. And you know what? Even that might be low in today's terms. These four artists, with the hundreds of millions of records that they had, the top 10 hits, the country songs, the legacy that they've had, you got to figure they could be a $100 billion quartet today. I mean, my goodness, can you just imagine? They were all young guys and they were all up and coming, and life was exciting going forward, and man, these guys made the most of it in certain ways, in all ways I suppose. And of course, music has never been the same. You know, you have Elvis with his movies and doing stadium tours. Of course, the Beatles invented the stadium concert tour. They were the first to do it. But Elvis, with his manager, the Colonel Tom Parker, I believe, man, they made things happen that had never been done before. Johnny Cash, of course, a legend. What a long, distinguished career, and then his wife and his children. Oh my gosh, the offspring. It just goes on and on. Jerry Lee Lewis, killer. Oh my gosh, a legend, performing right into the 80s, unbelievable, into his 80s really. And Carl Perkins, beloved by country and rock and roll stars. The Beatles adored Carl Perkins. Blue Suede Shoes, they had the record in Liverpool. They followed him very, very closely. Of course, Elvis, obviously, they followed closely. And Roy Orbison, to mention him. The Beatles and Roy Orbison toured together in England when Roy Orbison came over in '63, '64, and the Beatles were in heaven to meet one of their absolute idols. And of course, down the line, George Harrison and Roy Orbison teamed up, along with a little guy named Tom Petty and a little folk guy named Bob Dylan and a few other guys, and the Traveling Wilburys were created. And they performed for a couple of albums together. By the way, sad news to pass on. I didn't mention it the other day. I just heard about it the other day and I'd forgotten. George Harrison passed away 16 years ago. I believe it was November 29th, so this is about 4 or 5 days ago, at age 58. Cancer is what claimed his life, and too young for those of us who are Beatle fans. We love George, the silent, quiet Beatle. But boy, did he get a lot done in his lifetime. I heard the other day that he was involved in the production of 23 motion pictures. And The Life of Brian, the Monty Python movie, would not have been made without George Harrison backing it. He mortgaged his own house to come up with enough cash for the Monty Python crew to make their own movie. This is after they were the top-notch television show on BBC. They were a smash in the United States on television. They couldn't get backing to make their own movie. Can you believe that? George Harrison had to step in and finance the making of Life of Brian, and thereafter, movies by Monty Python were easy to finance. It didn't take any more mortgages by George Harrison to keep them financed in future movies. What an incredible story. When George believed in you, he believed in you all the way. So what a neat story. Anyway, that's my story today about history. 1956, the $1 Million Quartet at Sun Records. I love the story of Sun Records. The people that have come through there, the birthplace of rock and roll on a recording level. It was the birthplace of rock and roll in Memphis, Tennessee, which is known for country music. And oddly enough, Elvis Presley lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and yet he was the king of rock and roll. So go figure. You think it's Cleveland or Detroit or Philadelphia? No, it was Memphis. Thanks for joining me today. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends you're watching Traveling with Bruce. It's the ninth daily. You survived it. And we'll see you on the next daily. This is Bruce saying goodbye. Traveling with Bruce, you take care.